How excited are you about your life? How interested are you in making your life your actual dream life? Good, right? No? Yes or no? Good. Good. Fear of disappointment. Interesting. Because I think this is quite disappointing, no? As it is already. So why be afraid of disappointment? Because your life already is disappointing, is it not? If it wasn't, you wouldn't be here. To some extent, your life is already a big fucking disappointment. So why postpone and repeat more disappointment out of fear for being disappointed? Doesn't make sense, no? Start moving. You're already a disappointment, but that's perfect. The more you start moving, the less of a disappointment your life will be to you. And this is not in any way judging. It's just an observation. It's just a truth. Is your life completely 100% exciting to you? If not, it's disappointing, no? It's just a simple statement. It's not a judgment. It doesn't mean you did something wrong, although you did. It doesn't mean that you are wrong. It just means you don't have or haven't had the clarity of how to live life. You've never been taught that. You've never created that for yourself for whatever reasons. But now that you do gain this clarity, now that you do gain this new information, now that you start to see more clearly how to move through life by simply moving, by simply being in flow, in faith, in confidence, in fearlessness, in courage, then less and less will your life be disappointing to you and more exciting it will be. What is disappointment? At the core of it, not the judgment disappointment. Oh, you disappoint me, son. No, the real disappointment of you with your own life, which causes depression, which causes out of alignment and all that. That core hard disappointment is simply you not being who you're meant to be, not being your true self, not giving into your true self for whatever limiting idea you've picked up along the way. That is disappointing. That creates the difference, that creates the gap, that creates the distance, that creates the separation, that creates the depression, that creates the disappointment. But as soon as you start acting and flowing and forgetting about circumstances, circumstances will start to reflect you more effortlessly because you become more effortless. And then everything gets solved. And it's less and less of a disappointment and more of an exciting journey. Are you interested in that? Yes. Good. Good. If not, that's fine. But then expect to get the same results. Expect to keep yourself disappointed. That's all. It's fine. I mean, many people tolerate it. Billions of people tolerate it on this planet. Constantly. They're very spiritually awake in that sense. Right? They're very brain dead. There's many monks walking on this planet that don't even realize they're monks. So, it's possible. You know what's possible? It's possible to tolerate 80 years of disappointment, of core energetic frequency, hard disappointment. It's possible. You know that. It happens all the time, every day. It happens to the majority of people. It's chosen by the majority of people at this timing. So you know it's possible. You know where it leads. You know it's not that exciting, is it? You know it's not that safe. You know you're going to die anyway, right? Right? If you don't act on your joys, you're going to die miserable. If you act on your joys, you're going to die gloriously. And you leave this massive trail behind you for others to follow in their own way, but for others to track off of, you know, to be inspired by. And so you help the world by being an example, a testimony of greatness. You cannot be without ego if you keep yourself small. That's not the same thing. You can only be without the ego effect, without the ego tension, by living large. And large can be very simple. Doesn't have to look like my life, doesn't have to look like a base jumper, doesn't have to look like a rock climber. It can look like you taking care of your family. Nevertheless, however that shows up as relevant for you, it has to feel great, it has to feel expensive, it has to feel inspiring. That is the hallmark of an inspiring life. Not what you do and how others judge it, but how good and expensive you feel about it yourself, because that's what's relevant to you. So living a life of greatness can look very simple, or it can look very athletic. Doesn't matter. Either way is fine. It's the same, as long as it's inspiring to the person that's acting on it. And when you do, you will inspire people regardless. Many that you will never meet. Not because they'll read about you, although that's possible too, but because energetically you're helping people around the world that you will never physically meet. And it will never be mutually, physically, verbally recognized that you inspired them, that you lightened up a portion of their consciousness for them by acting on a joyful way, by living life in a great way. Therefore ego-free, because you're being yourself. We're all meant to be great. Why would the Infinite One create a portion that is somewhat mediocre and redundant and not really effective? Would it really want that? That is greatness. That is true alignment. That is the disappearance of the ego, is to be small and mediocre and keep yourself back, hold yourself down all the time and feel responsible for everyone else. That's not greatness. That's not joy. That's not freedom. That doesn't reflect the Infinite One, does it?